It's time for Living Your Purpose, a motivational and inspirational podcast with Peter and Joyce Nielsen.
Hey everybody, welcome to Living Your Purpose podcast. I'm Peter, this is Joyce Nielsen.
Hello.
And I'm getting over laryngitis, but I wanted to do this segment, so please bear with us. It is a beautiful day in our backyard.
It certainly is. So if you hear the birds chirping.
Exactly. It's
really, nice, yeah.
We've had a lot of rain. It is in June, and there is no humidity today, and it's beautiful to be outside, and I love being with you anywhere. So today is something that the topic is near and dear to both of our hearts because I think it's how we live. I mean, I just want to put a disclaimer out to everyone. You know, I have a strong faith in God, and that is the center of my world. But there is something that's called free will, and it's what we do in our lives that determine a lot of things that happen. So today's topic is all about the law of attraction. And if you look that up in the dictionary, it means the philosophy of that positive thinking and positive speaking are going to actually make positive results. Negative thinking and negative doing is going to make negative results. So in saying all that, you know, it goes back biblically that words create life or death. So it's so important to prophesize, to speak life into what you want instead of what you don't want. Correct?
I'm a believer 100%. It's what you put your focus on in your mind that's going to influence your behaviors. Therefore, what you think about and obsess about and what you're feeling and the energy you give off is going to be the same thing, almost like a magnetic force that is
Totally agree. And I think that as a couple, when you're a couple and you are one, you know, I mean, we got married, we have this covenant, and two become one flesh. It's a beautiful thing because sometimes even me, the coach, needs to be coached, where if I start speaking death into something, you kind of, with love, get on me, and if you get in your own head, I get on you, and it's beautiful.
We're a good yin and yang.
Yes, yes. You know, but I think one of the things that I think about, and I've counseled so many people, thousands of people over my career, and I'll give you one example. I was counseling this couple, and the woman wanted to get married so bad, and you know, the man they were dating for like 8 years. And the point is that she asked me a question. She says, do you think that, you know, he's going to propose to me? And I just said, I says, if you don't already know, you know. And what I mean by that is that how you live your life, the actions that you do are going to create that end result. So, you know, if you think that all men are dogs, you're going to meet all of them. If you think that you're going to get divorced, you will. If you think that you're never going to lose those extra 10 or 20 pounds, you won't. And if you think that you're never going to break an addiction of smoking, cocaine, or whatever that may be, you will still be an addict. So I really believe you need to walk into that positive mind flow, which, you know, we're talking about, they identify it as the law of attraction.
Yes, or manifestation.
Right. You know, I mean, and let's even take it one step further. We're talking about dating and this and that. If someone is unhealthy, if someone is toxic, they're going to be attracted to what? Toxic people. If someone is broken, we're all broken, but if someone is really just in a dark place, they're going to attract somebody in a dark place. So it's so important to work on self, to get whole, and to me, you know, God has truly helped heal me, teach me, And I fall short every day of following or living in Christ, but at the same time, every day I get an opportunity to do it better than yesterday.
Yeah, and so much like you played on is mindset.
Man.
And I mean, we've all had examples of it, and especially you, honey, when you were going to win out your first bodybuilding competition, it's almost like having a vision board. You have to see it in your head, and you have to speak it to yourself, which is going to, again, influence the way that your behaviors are, your motivation factors are. But when you were going for your first title, Mr. America,
I saw myself winning on stage before I got on stage. I saw myself lifting my hands up as they gave me, the medal and the trophy. And I spoke life into it. With the Mr. Universe competition, after I won the Mr. America, I went on the Regis Philbin show, and for people that are young, you probably don't know who he is. He just passed, but he had the Regis Philbin show live on ABC for golly decades. So I went on there live, and he and we just clicked. And I remember saying something that when I left, my agent in the green room said, "Wow, what did you just say?" And what I said was, he said, so what's next? I says, well, the Mr. Universe competition. He said, when is that? I says, that's in 8 weeks. And he says, how do you think you're going to do? Without hesitation, I said, I'm going to win. He said, kid, if you win, I want you to be the first one to come here. I want this show to have Mr. Universe, and I want ABC to be the first person to interview you. I said, deal. We shook hands, we hugged each other. I won in Central America, in Belize City, and all I can say is that when I left ABC Studios in Manhattan, New York, my knees were shaking because I was like, oh my God, what did I just say? As we got in the taxi cab, there wasn't Uber in those days, we got into a taxi cab, and my agent was like, whoa, do you think you put a lot of pressure on yourself? I said, maybe a little, I said, but I just spoke into the universe. I just spoke to God on what I want. And every day, I'm going to work towards that goal. Every day, I spoke that I was going to be the next universe. Every day, I visualized how that was going to go. And, with the grace of God, I won, and it was amazing. But I do need to say this part of the story. When I got on the plane to go to, I got on the plane at Kennedy Airport to go to Central America. When I got on the plane, I was so thirsty, I was getting dehydrated purposely so that 75% of your muscle bellies are water, 80% of your blood's water. And if I drank a Diet Pepsi or Coca-Cola that has just 50 milligrams of sodium, it would smooth me out and all my vascular would go away. And if I was going to be on stage in 2 days, I would lose. Even though I wasn't fat, I would be retaining water. In my mind, I started to mind screw myself. And I started to say, what am I doing? There's going to be 108 other countries there. I can't win. I was speaking death into that competition. I went to the vending machine at the airport. I had the can in my hand. And all of a sudden, we're getting ready to board, and I had a choice. And it was me against me. And I took the full can of soda, and I threw it into the trash. And my point is that I needed to keep walking into that, visualizing me winning. I needed to immediately get that garbage out of my brain, the enemy saying, are you ridiculous? You're going to lose. You're not going to win. And more as I got on that plane, my shoulders were back, my chest was out, and I was the next Mr. Universe in my mind, my body, and in my soul. I had to believe that to get on that plane. True story. You know, I don't even think I told you that story because it's, you know, it seems minuscule, but that moment in time I could have screwed it up.
Peter's principle would unwind. Don't drink that can of soda.
Exactly. Uncut, uncensored. And while we're on a Peter's principles, for people that do like, you know, soda, 150 calories, 10 teaspoons of sugar. If a person drinks 1 innocent can of 150 calorie 12-ounce soda pop with 10 teaspoons of sugar for 365 days, 1 year, you just gained 16 pounds. Where do you want to wear it?
Wow.
Here, or here. The choice is yours.
I'll take my water with lemon.
I'll take my tea. Exactly. You know, so the law of attraction, speaking life into yourself, championing your life is so important. You know, and I think that you and I, you know, being together now for years, I think that we both realize that, right? Because we're very sensitive, and God gives us this little thing called free will, and we have the ability to go sideways real quick.
Yeah, and everyone has the ability to shift their thought process and their focus. So if something that you are struggling with, where you tend to have a pessimistic view of everything, so the same situation could be presented to two people. But if one person hears it and they're only focusing in and picking out all the ways that it can go wrong, go sideways, it's going to blow up, then and your mind starts processing that and focusing on that, you're going to start playing through your head all the scenarios and every way it could go wrong, and you're almost shaping your behaviors to follow that pattern. Now take that same conversation with somebody else who's taking in all the positives, the what ifs. How can we learn? How can we grow? How can we make this better? What is gonna benefit from this? What is the purpose of this? And then your mind starts thinking
It's
that
contagious.
way, and it thinks outside the box, and you grow bigger, and you start fermenting your thoughts in your minds on how to improve things, how to make it better, how to move forward. Not what's holding you back in your fears, but how to break through that and how to truly shine. And it really affects your everyday life, and that energy also attracts you to the people that are like-minded around you. If you're around someone and they're constantly just negative and sucking all the energy out of you,
Dimming your light.
the less you're going to be around that, and the more those people are going to find themselves around other people that are seconding their negative thoughts, and
Right.
then you find that group of people, and it just brings you down and
What
down.
do they say? Misery
Loves company. Yeah. And it's the same with the positive, successful people in life, and not only in money, but relationships in every area. It truly is, your perception is your reality. Your
Yep.
thoughts shape your perception, and the energy you give off is a real thing.
You know, and that leads to the applications, and you kind of nailed each one of them. But it's like, you are who your friends are. And if you hang around a lot of negative people and you start dreaming with them, I guarantee you, you're going to hear more naysayers than you ever have in your entire life. And they're going to get in your head, and because you love them, you may then put your dream on the shelf, on hold. So one of the first things is know the people that you are associating with, because I say this, and I've said this on stage, I say it to my kids, show me 5 people that you are close to, and I could tell you a lot about your life by just listening and learning a little about these people, their habits, where they go, you know, just different things, how they think. So what I will say is, and I've had to do it, whether it's family, whether it's business associates, whether it's close friends, some people in my life I had to fire because, as Joyce said, it was exhausting. It was making my mind get all filled with static instead of listening to my God-given dreams that God planted and burnt in my heart before I even was born. And all I needed to do was listen to those dreams. You know, so many people would have accomplished what they wanted to accomplish if they didn't ask 4,200 friends and people, what do you think? Because everybody's going to have their own opinion, but what I will say, to put a period at the end of that sentence, is that God has given you the vision, not them. So you're asking them something that hasn't been burnt into their heart. So how can they be passionate or even maybe see a picture of it if they don't have any concept of what God is doing in your life? So firing people in your life that maybe you love, you can still love them. You can still pray for them. But put them on the sidelines. They don't have to be living in your vicinity of your life. Number two is find people that are positive. And if there's no positive people around, then get out in nature and listen to this little voice. And some people call it your gut. Some people call it your intuition. I call it the Spirit of God will speak to you every day. And so many times our busyness buries His greatness. And we need to just be still sometimes and listen. And if you do have positive people in your life and you believe in them, it's great to have counsel. And you are my number one confidant after God. I bounce everything off of you.
Yeah, we are each other's.
She doesn't criticize me. She may tweak it. A lot of times she will. We have iPhones and she'll maybe make a note and she'll share it with me. She'll, like, instead of this, what about this? And her presentation is beautiful. And I remember growing up, my kids would say, Dad, you're 100% right, but your presentation sucks. So it's important for the people that you're hanging with that love you to present it in a loving way, or it could be taken negatively, hurt your feelings, and then you're going to shun and close up and never dream again about that. So the friends are very important. The other thing that we talked about is mindset. You need to speak life into yourself. You need to champion your own life. So what you want, yes, write it down. Have a vision board, but speak it, because whether you call it the law of attractions or whether you call it the scripture that says in the Bible, words create life or death, guess what? It's the same. So an atheist over here who may be saying, yeah, the law of attraction is great, I live by it. It's the same thing in the Bible if you're a believer. And the point is that talk life into yourself. If you are going through a terrible valley in a relationship, speak life into that. Speak life into reconciliation. Speak life into loving that person. Communicate well, because sometimes it's just a smile. Sometimes it's a kiss. Sometimes it's just, I'm sorry. Those things are going to help not only you grow, but if you're in a relationship or in a business, there's no perfect person. So it's so important to be positive. And I thought that this topic was so, we're at a point in I never get political, and I'm not going to today, but we as a nation are so divided that even just hearing negative from one side or the other, I just like to zip it. I can feel what I feel, but I don't want to hear that crap, because all it's doing is creating anger, division, darkness, isolation. It's stupid, right? So, when it comes to someone that maybe gets in their own way, what tip would you give them before we leave on just the law of attraction?
Yeah, it's practicing mindfulness, because it really is the thoughts that you're allowing into your head that is shaping your entire world around you and shaping the way people react to you. So if you can catch yourself in those moments and practice mindfulness and reframe your thought about a situation, it'll take you very far in life.
Agreed. And I need to end with this before we close. You know, I've been doing radio for decades and TV for decades, but it sure is better doing it with her. It really, really is. When you find that human, when you find that business partner, when you find that friend that aligns with your integrity, your values, your morals, that can complement you, that you trust enough to bounce things off of and is positive about wanting to grow together. I always said to my closest friends and my pastor, I'm not looking for a passenger. I'm looking for a co-pilot. And I found it in this woman here. If you want to even take what we're talking about the next step, I have an amazing life transformation tour that is coming up July 27th in the state of Michigan. If something on the inside you feel stuck, that you want to have a breakthrough, I have wonderful speakers that are going to be there. I mean, obviously I'll be there. I also have Andrea Shaw. She's 4-time Miss Olympia, talking about fitness and wellness. I have just a few other people that are just experts in their field with mind, body, and spirit, being that best version of yourself. If you want more information, you could go to thetransformation.com.
TheLifeTransformation.com.
Yes, yes, I made a mistake last week. Thank you. TheLifeTransformation.com. And you can get tickets there. If you have a question, you could email me at peter@peternielsen.com. Don't forget to watch our TV show, Peter's Principles. It's on 4 times a week. It's on Tuesdays and Thursdays on Astound TV network at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's on worldwide on Roku. You find DBTV on Roku, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Saturday and Sunday. We want each and every one of you to get unstuck, to move forward, to live a purpose-filled life. That's why we do what we do. God has been very good to me, and I want to pay it forward. It's about sowing into each and every one of you. So until next week, it's Peter and Joyce Nielsen, and we hope that you continue to search for living your purpose. You know, over the years, I realized that being born with an incurable condition called Crohn's disease truly became my rocket fuel. Are you in a situation right now where you feel stuck? You're looking for a breakthrough. I want to take the message of hope on the road with my friends. So join me for the new Life Transformation Tour that starts July 27th in the state of Michigan, in Livonia. I'm going to have special guests that are experts in their field, mind, body, and spirit. If you're at a place where you're looking to lose those last 50 pounds, maybe break an addiction, or better a relationship or occupation, join me for the Life Transformation Tour. Let's get better together. Go to thelifetransformation.com for more information.